Here's a video on probably the simplest way to make a suspension trainer. This only uses 2 straps, and some PVC, and a couple rings. I've got 2 pieces of 1-inch PVC tubes cut 5 inches long, and I've smoothed the inside of these ends off on my lathe. Get some sandpaper. If you cut your own, make sure it's good and smooth so you don't cut your straps. You can use a couple of rings. These I bought at a hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot, not sure which it is. A couple 2-inch rings. Take some stress out, or in this particular case I'm going to use this ring, this piece of aluminum that I turned down since I'm a machinist that makes stuff. So I'm going to use this ring here instead. It's a bit wider, and the reason for this is it spreads the load out. You can actually do this without a ring at all. You can run the strap across itself. But I don't like the idea of the strap rubbing against the strap. I think it wear out faster. For straps, I'm just using these 1-inch lashing straps to get a Harbor Freight. It costs about $5 for a pair. It's 12 foot long. Works just fine. They've got a load rating of 1,000 pounds maximum and an actual safe load rating of 330. So for my purposes, they're fine. Especially when we get done with this thing, you're actually doubling the strap over, so you're doubling the load. Alright, so to get started, you take one of the straps, and I'm going to cut it off as close to the buckle as I can, right where the stitches stop. And from there, I'm going to measure 28 inches, and I'm going to cut that off. And if you're not exact, don't worry about it. 28 inches, and I cut this off right here. And I'm going to burn the ends, all 3 of these ends. They don't fray anymore on me. I have some really thick calluses in my fingers, so I don't really feel that much. Alright, so I'm going to take the long piece to start with. I'm going to come back 28 inches. I'm going to tie a single overhand knot. And I'll mark it with a Sharpie at 28 inches. And I'll get the 2 ends together so I can transfer that mark on the opposite side, because they're going to be 28 inches from each end. I'll mark it right here. Now I'm just going to tie a simple overhand knot, which is the first half of a water knot. Being a climbing instructor, I teach people the only type knot you should ever tie in a piece of webbing or strap is a water knot. So we're going to tie a water knot. Now once I've tied the overhand knot, I take the other end of the strap here, stick it through my PVC. And to tie the water knot, all you do is follow the strap back through. I've got a video up on YouTube, shows how to tie a water knot. Really pretty simple thing. You follow the strap back around through itself. Once you pull this tight, it just tightens up on itself. That's the first one. Now I'm going to take my ring. I'm using this ring. Use some steel rings. You can use a quick link, carabiner, whatever you want to use. Put that on first. And again, I'm going to tie a water knot at the 28-inch mark that I have marked. Around. Take it right back up in here. Now I'm using 1-inch PVC this time. I've made a lot of these in 3/4. Just right now I had some 1-inch handy at the house, so I'm using a 1-inch. Whatever floats your boat, you can use 1-inch, you can use 3/4. 1/2 inch I think is too small. So this is primarily the main piece you need. What you're looking for between these two handles is about 7 feet. I'm 6 foot tall. I've got at least 7 feet there. That's what you need. If you're a little shorter, you can make it a little bit shorter. If you're taller, I want to go a little taller, but try to get about a foot taller more than what you are upright. All right, next thing I want to do is take my second strap. I've already marked this one. What I've done is I took a Sharpie and a tape measure and I marked it off 6 inch increments, starting with 0 all the way down to 10. And I'm going to use this for an anchor. I'm going to add just a little bit past the 10 so I can tie an overhand knot in it when I stick it through the buckle and it won't come back out. So I'm just going to cut it off right here. And I'll burn the ends. So I'll take this strap, stick it through my aluminum ring, turn it back up on itself, and I'll tie an overhand knot right here at the very end. I should have gone just a little bit longer with this. Now you don't have to tie it if you don't want to, your personal preference. This way, if I'm pulling on a thing, I can't pull too far and make it come out. So this is the main part of the whole thing right here. Okay. Now doing this for a door anchor, the simplest thing to do is get a towel or a pair of socks, shop towel, whatever you got, roll it up, stick it right in here on the 0 side, and stick that over top of your door, so that's on the back side of the door, and pull it tight, and it can't come through. There's your door anchor. And these things sit down. If you make it at this length, as I've showed here, on a typical door, when you stick this outside the door, your straps are going to be about 6 or 8 inches off the floor, which is perfect height for the longest one. Now what we want to do is we're going to add a couple stirrups so you can hook your feet into these things. And we've already got one 28-inch piece from the first piece. We're going to make another one from what was left over from the second strap. So I'm just going to put this one side by side and come down and cut it off at 28. And again, if you're not exact, don't worry about it. Plus or minus an inch or so, ain't going to hurt. I'll burn the end of this off also. And again, we're going to tie a water knot. So I'm take this strap and stick it through my PVC. I'm going to tie an overhand knot right here in this end. And I'll take the other end of the strap and I'm just going to follow that back through. And then I'm going to take this and just pull the knot up inside the handle. And that's for first stirrup. Do the same thing again. Tie overhand knot here. And we'll feed it through this PVC. I like the 1 inch. It feeds through easier than the 3/4. The 3/4 can get pretty tight, especially when you get the knot in there. Sometimes it's pretty hard to get it all up inside there. So we just feed this right around itself. Back in here. Pull the whole thing tight. That's the second stirrup. And that, my friends, is the whole thing. And if your stirrups aren't exactly the same length, don't worry about it. You're just going to hook your feet to it and do stuff. Now, what you can do is, you've got a bunch of leftover strap here. You can mark your straps inside the PVC. You take another piece of this, lay it on top of that, put some tape on each side, give you an extra layer of protection, because this will rotate, keep you from cutting these things up, put an extra layer on there. But that is the whole thing right there. This cost me $5 for the strap, the PVC I had in the garage from a different project, And I made this, so $5 right there. Suspension trainer. Make your own.